Friends, welcome back to our next session on MCQs and case-based scenarios of our CA Final Paper 3 Advanced Auditing and Professional Ethics. Here is our next question, which is our question number 16. Shits Private Limited is a company based out of Kochi having operations primarily in Europe. Because of the nature of operations of the company, it is required to prepare its financial statements as per international standards for reporting to the local regulatory authorities over there. Since the business is based in Europe, the audit team is also required to visit the locations wherever the company has offices and is accordingly required to perform certain audit processes over there. During the audit of this company for the financial year ended 31st of March 2020, the auditors who had planned their work appropriately and had a large team for conducting the audit were facing a lot of challenges at various stages. They were also required to revisit their materiality level during the course of work. However, at the time of final reviews, when this was discussed with the audit partner, that is our audit in charge, he was not convinced with the approach of the audit team, wherein they reassessed their plans continuously, resulting in wastage of time. In this situation, please advise which of the following would be the correct. Here, what happened is the company is a very large company, and to conduct the audit of this company, a large audit team has been engaged. And this audit team, what it has done is, depending upon the situations and the circumstances around them during the course of audit, they reassessed their materiality level continuously. And during the finalization, when this was discussed with the audit partner, he was like, it is a wastage of time which was done by the audit engagement team. Now, which one will be the correct answer in this situation? We need to choose from the options given. The audit partner, being the senior most team member, is right, and the same thing should be considered by audit team by documenting it in the audit file. This is not correct because materiality level will undergo changes depending upon the circumstances and the conditions prevailing during the course of audit, and hence this option is wrong. Option B, audit partner's view is not correct as the audit team did the right thing. Yes, this is the correct option. Audit team has done their work properly and the view of audit partner is wrong. Option C, audit partner was correct. However, during the course of an audit which required visits at various locations, it was mandatory. Just because you are visiting various locations, that doesn't mean that you need to change your materiality level. Materiality level will be changed only when there is a change in the circumstances during the course of audit. Okay, option C is therefore not a correct option. Option D, audit partner's view is not correct because the materiality was revised by the audit team, which is a big thing, and same should have been considered by the audit partner. Just because changing the materiality doesn't make that it is a big thing, and the same has to be accepted by the audit partner. So the correct option for this question is the audit partner's view is not correct, and whatever audit team has done is the correct. So option B is the correct answer. Let's go through the next question. Question number 17. RJ Private Limited, having its office at Bangalore and operations spread across southern India, had a discussion with its statutory auditors regarding the audit plan and the timeliness. In the past years, there have been significant delays in completion of audit work, and the management wanted that for the current year, audit should get completed on time. For doing this, the audit team suggested that the information for the purpose of audit should be ready on time, and only then the timeliness as agreed can be achieved. On the basis of discussions with the client and the auditors and internal discussions amongst the audit team members, a detailed audit program was prepared by the audit team for the current year's audit. But the audit team discussed that they will not document this audit program till the completion of the audit work because at various stages the work may require changes. If the audit team documents the audit program, then it would create problems later on at the time of assembling the audit file, wherein the audit team would have to show the changes made by them in the audit program during the course of audit. The view of audit team is not correct, because whenever you are planning an audit and you have finalized your audit program, the same has to be documented then and there itself. And if there are any changes which are made in the audit program during the course of audit, the same has to be documented along with the reasons thereof. So the view of audit team is not correct. What the question is asking, let's see. You are required to share your views in respect of this understanding and approach of the auditor. Option A, the decision of audit team regarding not documenting the audit program is very good. Is this the good thing? No, you need to document then and there itself, even though you might change the audit program during the course of audit. So before continuing with this option, we already know that this is not the correct option. Let's go on to the next option. Instead of considering the audit program, the audit team could have prepared a checklist. In case of a checklist, such problem will not arise, because in case of a checklist, if any changes were made, then the final checklist can be kept in the file along with the old working checklist used during the audit. Audit program can never be substituted by a mere checklist. So even this option is not correct. Let's go through option number C. The approach of the audit team not to document audit program is not correct. Yes, this is not correct. The audit team needs to document it properly at the time of planning stage itself, and any changes made after that should also be documented with explanations. So this is what we have discussed while reading the question, and hence this is the correct option. Audit team has to document the audit program at the planning stage itself, and if there are any changes, the same has to be documented along with the explanations. Let's go through option D. The decision of audit team not to document the audit program is not correct. Okay, the concern that changes may arise in the audit program is valid. However, to take care of that, audit team can take approval from the ICAI later on when those changes will be made. So there is no linkage between ICAI and the statutory audit program which you are preparing now, because ICAI will not give you any special permissions so as to skip any one of the programs that need to be that is to be mandatorily done. So option D is also not correct. Option C is correct. Let's go through question number 18. KJ Private Limited has a business of pharmaceuticals and has an annual turnover of 1500 crore rupees. During the last few years, considering the environment in which the company operates, its profit has reduced and are still reducing. Hence, the management has been looking at various ways to cut the costs. AD and Associates are the statutory auditors of the company, and RM and Associates are the internal auditors of the company. Initially, the company did not want to appoint any internal auditors to save cost. However, at insistence of the statutory auditors, the company appointed the internal auditors. During the course of statutory audit for the financial year 31st of March 2020, the statutory auditors requested for the detailed working papers of the internal auditors, which the internal auditors refused. However, the statutory auditors told the management if the same are not provided, then they would qualify their report. This is not the correct way. If the internal auditor is not ready to give his detailed working papers, the statutory auditor should perform another audit alternative procedures to confirm the same. Merely because the internal auditor is not giving his working papers, that will not be a reason for qualification of audit report. So the view of statutory auditors is not correct. Come, let's go through the options and decide which is correct. Option A. The statutory auditors should review the detailed working papers, but they cannot qualify their report. This is not correct, because if the internal auditor gives you anything for review, then you can review. If he is refusing, then you cannot force him to give you, because audit working papers are the properties of auditors. Option B, the statutory auditors may review the detailed working papers and even after that they may qualify their report. Even this is not correct. Option C, the statutory auditors are not required to go to the extent of detailed review of detailed working papers of the internal auditors. So it is not at all required to go in detail review of the working papers of internal auditors. So option C seems to be correct. Let's go through the option D also. The statutory auditor may review the detailed working papers of internal auditor, but for the purpose, they need to get a prior approval of ICAI. This is absolute rubbish. So option C is the correct answer. Let's go through question number 19. RIM Private Limited is engaged in the business of manufacturing of steel having annual turnover of 10,000 crores. The company is very capital sensitive and has its plants at two locations, Mohali and Hosur. During the year ended 31st of March 2019, the company carried out a physical verification of its property, plant and equipment and also reassessed their useful life by engaging a consultant. The consultant submitted its report to the management on 21st of April 2019. The statutory auditors of the company started their work from May 2019, and when this information was given to them regarding the physical verification and the reassessment of the useful life of the property, plant and equipment, the auditors told the management the consultant should have submitted its report to the auditors also independently. Further, in the absence of this direct communication of the report to the consultant, report of the consultant to the auditor, the audit team would have to review the work of the auditor. Review the work of the consultant, which is not efficient, but it cannot be avoided now. Management did not agree with both the points of the auditor that the consultant should have shared report with the auditors directly and that the auditor need to review the work of the consultant. The management would like to have your views on this matter. See, here the question is, the management has appointed some consultant to review and assess the values of their property, plant and equipment. And the consultant has performed his work well and submitted his report to the management. Now the statutory auditors came into the picture. And now the statutory auditors are questioning the management that if the consultant would have given the report directly to the statutory auditors, then there won't be any compliance on the heads of the statutory auditors to review the work. Since now the consultant has not given such report to the auditors directly, now it is on the auditor to reassess the work and to give a special report. So now the management is thinking, so there is no need of a consultant to report directly to the auditor because the consultant is appointed by the management and the consultant has performed his work by reporting to the same management. And the management is also not agreeing that auditor should reassess the valuation of the consultant. So the ultimate answer which the question is asking us is whether management is correct in saying that the consultant should not give the report to auditor and auditor should not reassess the work, and whether the auditor is correct in saying that the report should be given directly and it is not required for him to reassess the work. So here the ultimate answer is both the management and the auditor are incorrect or not correct, because it is the consultant who is appointed by the management, and even if the consultant hasn't given his report directly to the auditor, it is the work of the auditor to review the work of consultant. So there is no point in questioning and arguing with the management that the report of consultant should be given directly to the statutory auditors. So let's go through the options first. Option A. The view of the management seems to be correct because there is no such requirement that any consultant of the company should share his report directly to the auditor. Also, when the consultant has already submitted a detailed report, no further review is required for that. So this option is not correct. Because here it is saying that no further review is required. But as per our standards, auditor has to review the work whether the report has been given or not given. Whether any detailed report has been given or not given by the consultant. Let's go through option B. Both the management and auditors are not correct. Yes, that is what we want. The auditor is not supposed to receive the report directly. So, to this extent, management is correct. Further, the auditor needs to review the work of consultant irrespective of the fact whether he received the report directly or not. To this extent, auditor is correct. So, both the auditor and the management are incorrect in relating to their views. So, option B is the correct answer. Even then, we will go through the balance options also. Option C, the auditor's requirement are reasonable because he carries duty in respect of audit of financial statements, and by not getting report directly from the consultant, he would not know whether it belongs to that consultant or not. And now, only because of this lack of proper communication, the auditor would have to review the work of consultant. So this option is not correct, because even if the auditor knows that it is the work of the consultant, and even if the consultant has reported directly to the auditor, the responsibility of auditor to review the work and to review the valuation of property, plant and equipment doesn't go away. It is the auditor who has to perform those things. And we'll go through option number B. Both the management and option D, both the management and auditor should find a solution to this problem. Is this the correct one? Because both the auditor and the management should sit together, speak, all these things are required. No, because the standard is already saying that auditor has to reperform, has to reassess, has to confirm the balances of property, plant and equipment, even if the consultant has given you any detailed report or not. So, option B is our correct answer. Last question for the day. Question number 20. Mrs. P.N. Viraj and Associates are the statutory auditors of ABC Limited for the financial year 2019 to 2020. The company has a strong internal audit system. During the course of an audit, CAVN, the engagement partner, found that the company has factories all across the country. In order to verify the wage expenses at all the factories, CAVN decided to use the internal audit team of the company. He accordingly discussed the same with Mr. Mr. Gaurang, the Chief Internal Auditor of ABC Limited, to provide him a report on the wage expenses across all factories. Which of the following requirements as per SA 610 are required to be fulfilled by CAVN prior to using the direct assistance of the internal audit team of the company? The only thing the statutory auditor should do is to get a written representation from the management that from now the internal audit team will work in accordance with the directions of statutory auditor, and also the auditor should get a written confirmation from the internal auditor asking him to allow his internal audit team to work on his directions. Let's go through the options also. Option A, CAVN should obtain a written agreement from the management of ABC Limited that the internal audit team will be allowed to follow the statutory auditor's instructions. Yes, this is correct. And option B, CAVN should also obtain a written agreement from Mr. Gaurang that his team will keep the matters confidential. Yes, whatever the statutory auditor asks them to do, they should do, and they should keep the matters confidential. Even this is correct. Option C, both A and B. So option C is the final appropriate answer for this question. Let's go through option D also. CAVN can use the direct assistance of internal audit team after discussing the same with management. No prior written agreement is required. So it is saying no agreement is required. But is this the correct answer? No, because a written agreement has to be documented so that in future if any discrepancies arises, this particular written agreement will serve our purpose. And therefore, we have completed all our questions for today. We'll meet again tomorrow, and if there are any questions, any doubts with regard to any of the things that we have discussed, please comment below. And if you want me to explain any other concept, any other specified concept of other subjects of CA final also, you can comment below. And if you find this videos helpful, useful, please do like, share, subscribe. Do share with your friends and colleagues and help them to revise quickly. That's all for today. We'll meet again tomorrow. Okay then. Till then, take care. Bye bye.